that's going to be a problem. If you have a vehicle that's sagging in the rear like this one, most likely there's something going on with your leaf springs or shackles. You can get those at 1aauto.com. Now let me show you what to look for. Here we have a coil spring, and we're all familiar with this. Your vehicle needs springs while going down the road. You're going to hit bumps, and the vehicle has to not be rigid. It needs to be able to oscillate up and down. Otherwise, it's going to be a very bumpy ride. So if you don't have coil springs, you probably have leaf springs. This is what a leaf spring is. The leaf spring is going to do the same job as a coil spring. It's just set up a little bit different. You're going to find these mostly in truck or bigger rear-wheel drive vehicles. The front part of the leaf spring is going to be attached to the frame of the vehicle. The center is where the axle is to allow it to go up and down. And as the leaf spring flexes back and forth, you're going to need the shackle in the back. And that's going to allow it to pivot as the leaf spring flexes. We have the leaf spring attached to the frame right here that's in the front. That's going to give it stability. It's not going to move side to side. It's just going to be straight. And then you move back down here, and you can see this leaf is attached with this little clamp right here. That's going to prevent the leaf from popping out. And then the lower leaf, because it's smaller, it doesn't really need that clamp. It's not going to go anywhere. So when the suspension gets compressed, this little bumper right here is just going to be pushing on that bottom part of that leaf. And you can see they're all clamped together right here at the axle with some U-bolts. And there is a little spacer. Different vehicles will have the spacer here. They may have the spacer on the top. And sometimes the leaf springs are actually underneath the axle and it's clamped downward. Then behind the axle, we can see the lower one. Again, there's no clamp there. And the next one up, because there's a clamp in the front holding it together, you don't need that in the back side. There's a little bumper right there. And then towards the back, you're going to have the shackle. You can see it located right here. On this vehicle, the leaf spring is above the shackle. Some vehicles, it is opposite. You'll have the shackle above the leaf spring. We have 3 leaves in this spring, and they're fairly thick. And that's going to change based on the load capacity of the vehicle. This vehicle has a helper spring to help level out the vehicle in combination with the factory leaf springs. If you're carrying heavy loads, you may need a helper spring just to keep the truck level. You can see on this vehicle, the leaf spring is underneath the shackle, so the weight of the vehicle is pushing on the shackle instead of pulling on it. Some things you want to look at while you're looking at the springs is where the contact parts are of the 2 springs. Over time, these rubber bushings will wear, or rubber bumpers, and even here, you may even find that they're completely missing. Now that's going to give you some rattling or even some squeaking as you're going over bumps. You want to look at the leaves real carefully because there can be some cracks in here and you don't even notice it. You don't even notice anything going down the road. It just may give you a little bit of a sagging to that side. And if it cracks right here, this back half of the leaf could just fall out and you wouldn't even know that it's missing. And the shackle in the back, when this rots over time and actually breaks, the leaf spring is going to be riding up against the bed of the truck, and you may not even notice it other than some squeaking or some rattling over bumps. On the passenger side, we're going to have to remove the exhaust, take the hangers off. With the muffler down, now I can access the bolt from the inside, and then I can take this nut off. Underneath the differential, I'm just going to use a pull jack to support the differential, take a little bit of tension off the springs. We're going to take all the U-bolt nuts off. Now we can take this plate out and take the U-bolts out. Now I need to lower the differential down lower so that I can get that out. Take the lower shock bolt out. Take that bolt out. And you can lower this down even further. Just gonna pry this down. going to put this spacer in where the other one was. You can slide this in place and put the U-bolts on. And take this plate, line this up. Snug that down. Now we can lower the suspension. Now you can reinstall the leaf spring. That looks level again, and that's the way it should be. Remember, always replace those leaf springs and shackles in pairs, and you can get those at 1aauto.com. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe to our channel, ring the bell, turn on all notifications so don't miss any of our videos.